Okay, I'm recording now. Yeah, well, I think what it really boils down to, why you lost this game, it's honestly because you simply just didn't take the enemy towers, right? There were a lot of chances where you just, like, the enemy Callista, she was rage split pushing basically, and your whole team went there, right? Instead of just taking towers, and that's actually what lost you the game. And also in the early game, you were super ahead, but you didn't really abuse it, right? And I will talk about it, of course, in the moments. But yeah, I think at some points you just weren't aware at like how strong you are. And obviously, there's also some pathing mistakes, some mechanical mistakes, but that's not really what lost you the game, in my opinion. Okay.
Right.
So actually, the first thing already, I think what we should talk about is the fact that you path top here. The enemy Callista is playing without flash, so these kind of things you just need to abuse them, right? If someone's playing without flash, just and what the fuck? I didn't even see that. She started a fairy charm. Like this guy's actually just running it down, and you need to abuse this kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
you're not screen sharing, by the way. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, sorry. 1 second. I forgot. Yeah. No, I'm screen sharing, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, see, like, enemy Callista, she bought a fairy charm and she's playing with TP heal. And yeah, and these are the kind of decisions, obviously, like in, I guess, more serious games, this kind of obvious stuff that you can punish won't happen. But I guess in your elo it does happen. You're also playing against a Thresh mid, so just punish this kind of stuff, right? And I also noticed, for example, you didn't gank mid once this game, even though it's a Thresh that's building full squishy. So this kind of stuff, you just need to abuse it. Right.
Okay.
Then one thing, of course, right, like the W at 126, very small detail, but again, it just doesn't cost you anything to do it. Right, you're just kind of AFK. You don't even start doing it at 130, and then also you're not pathing down towards the crux while you're doing the red. You actually didn't do it as much in the later stages. You're more efficient with your farming then, but I don't know why in the early you just weren't very efficient. Yeah, I think also the one auto attack on the medium croc was wasted, but this kind of stuff, whatever, right? It doesn't really matter. I think here, yeah, what you need to do when clearing the rappers is definitely proc the passive on the big one first, right? So it refreshes. Because you know it has a cooldown, right? So
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
you want the big one to refresh, so you can kill it faster. But obviously this probably saves you like 1 or 2 seconds if you do it correctly. And then here, actually, I mean, okay, the Jax, he just walked into the river, so I would have thought that it's warded, of course. But with this kind of HP, right, he's very low. You can actually think about going over this wall with your E, right, and just coming in, like, especially if he has this warded, you will feel safe. So if you come over
Yeah.
this wall, it's like very surprising. But in the early game, like usually on my first clear, I wouldn't do this kind of stuff. So it's fine that you didn't gank top here. I probably wouldn't have as well because he went
I
in the
just
river.
because when I used to play where level 3 and then I look if there is a gank,
Hmm.
but now I just full clear and then see if there's an and
Well,
then just scuffle and then see if there's any gank.
yeah,
And
see, like,
yes,
this is why obviously I don't like saying stuff like focus on CS and this, whatever, but because it's never black and white, right? If this guy
yeah,
is super overextended and he's low HP, then gank him, right? And if he hasn't even walked into the river, you 100% know that doesn't have a ward, then for sure gank him, right? You then just like skip your camps and go back to them. It's not a problem at all if you get a kill for it. But in this case, he walked into the river, so you would have thought that it is warded. But if he's walking up this far, then it doesn't even matter if it's warded, right? He's just walked up too far at some point. But yeah, like it's a Jax as well, so he can just ward jump with his Q. It's not that easy to gank in the early with your GP at least. He doesn't have any gank setup. So yeah, in general, of course, just pathing bot here would have been much easier in general, right? Like ganking Jax with a GP is just not a super good choice either way, right? Even if the Kalista wasn't trolling with her sums. Yeah. Then here in a second, you actually kill the Viego. Very good, right? But one thing, like that's a very big trend throughout the whole game, is you don't use your W enough. Like you don't use it early enough. Never, like almost never. Here, for example, when you go around this corner, and as soon as you see him, you need to place the W somewhere here, right? Or even, I think you know,
Okay.
right? You saw even the plant, so you know he's here. You could even place it blindly here if you're like really confident. But in general, just
Okay.
place your W because you know you're gonna fight. You need the shield, and that's also why you have so many deaths in this game because you just didn't use your W in a lot of key moments.
Right.
I mean, you get the kill here. That's super fine. Use your W now, but you should have just used it right away. You couldn't have even, or you would have had to flash way earlier. Alright, this was actually good. The fact that you flashed in there. I personally would have also tried to proc the although I think if you proc the auto attack there you probably die, so this was actually the right choice. Just okay. This guy, I guess he wanted to catch you. Right. So now you have a pretty decent base. I think actually with 1.4k you should go for the Hextech alternator. I think it's better now, especially because you're looking to gank a lot. But if you don't have the money and you have some leftover money, you should definitely get a control word at least, right? And also the sweeper. I didn't even notice that when I watched it right a
I
second
don't think
ago.
I've used the sweeper this game. That's another thing.
Yeah,
Um.
you need to use it and you need to get it on your first base. Also here, uh, you shouldn't go through this way, right? You should always go here. It's fine that you go checking for the crab. That's cool, but you should still just go from the bottom. Because if you go back here, it's just a bit quicker than going back here and then around here, you know?
Okay. Okay.
For sure. Like, always just go from the bottom. And also, in this case, you could have caught Viego here, maybe. Even if you were down here with your W, you could have placed it in his path. So, yeah. At least you go to the crux, that's right. Like, that's good, of course. And then, yeah, like, you should also look mid a bit more here, right? Like, that's one thing you didn't. I can imagine you probably didn't even like actually didn't even look mid at all this game. It feels like, but there are some situations where the thresh was kind of low or definitely killable, especially with his setup. Right, he's super squishy. It's not a support thresh that's kind of tanky. It's a Dark Harvest thresh that's just gonna die. Right, he's just gonna die super quickly, and he's playing very aggressively as well in a lot of situations. So you didn't abuse that at all. But you still managed to get fed. So the problem was just really the fact that you didn't push your leads any further, and you had some obviously
Yeah.
quite bad deaths. Also, it felt like in some situations, it felt like you were just really tilted. I don't know, like some
At some points.
very
Just some
weird
points.
choices with the flashes and whatever. Right, like here you should definitely look for a bot gank the way they're playing. Even though they're full HP, again the Kalista doesn't have flash. Yeah, this recall is huge mistake. You should definitely look for a bot gank. If they're above this line especially, but even if they're in the middle, right? You have a Lux, you have a Caitlyn. Again, the Kalista is flashless. Okay, Karma is not the easiest champ to gank, but and you even have the blast count here, right? This is such a good gank path. Just taking the blast count and not walking through here and coming through the river, because oftentimes, especially when you see them playing like this aggressively, it's not unlikely they have this warded. They didn't even have it warded, but in high yields, this will usually be a sign that this is warded. So taking the blast con and then just coming through the river can really be a surprise. It's basically the same as going over here, right? But just that you don't even have to use E because you have the blast cone. So yeah, taking this base, especially because you don't even have a good base, for sure a mistake, right? Like you don't even have the 1 point, and also your red is coming up, so you could have at least taken that, so you don't have to go in debt here. So yeah, this was like honestly a very bad base. And I don't know why you're so scared to gank this bot lane. Your bot lane is full HP and whatever. Then of course, and also you lost Drake for it, so it's double bad. Or you killed a Viego, but you could have done that even before, maybe. Or, well, probably if you go over here, he's gonna be scared, but still, like, you could have killed the bot lane and then just taken Drake. Right, that's another thing. I mean, you get a lot of Drakes this game, but it felt like it just kind of happened and it's not really something you planned. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you should really look to... Nobody saw that cue.
I don't
You,
know. Yeah.
you should really look to... Uh, prioritize drakes, right? That's also something I didn't do enough earlier in the season, but I realized like drakes are just so strong. They're gonna win you so many games just taking them. You don't really notice it, but it just makes a difference. It really does. And all of them. I mean, the ocean drake's kind of the weakest, I guess, on its own. But all the other drakes you can almost feel them. Here also you shouldn't attack the small ones, right? On your second clear you don't need to. You should only just focus the big one, and your Qs and the jungle pet will clear it off, right? Like they will clear
I
the
should
small
have gone
ones.
bot there.
Yeah, yeah, you should have been faster to react. This is probably too
Oh yeah, I
slow.
was going bot.
Again, you should just take this blast clone. Oh, if it's up and you want to gank bot, take it. Right? Ah, yeah, here, this was kind of weird. You were like super tunnel vision on the Viego. Again, if you're here, place your W somewhere, right? You know that the karma's in here as well, I think. I'm pretty sure. Do you know?
Yeah, I didn't see her, but I
Yeah,
think I
because you
placed
because you did, you weren't here with your camera, but if
yeah.
you were here with your camera, you
Yeah.
see her walking in there, right? Or you actually don't because you have no minions, I guess. But even then, you're so tunnel vision on this brush, so you expect the Viego to be there, but you didn't even place your W there, right? You just walk there, so it's right, always place your W if you're looking to gank there, always, always. And now this flash is also just like super aggressive, or like super waste, not even aggressive, it's just wasted. Right? Why are you even flashing there? You in this game you had a lot of flashes that were just so. It felt like you didn't realize that it's a 5 minute cooldown. Like 5 minutes is a long time. It's a valuable spell, especially on Ekko. It's a super valuable spell, and you should never use it on a kill that's secured anyways, right? This karma is dead for sure, and there's really just no reason to flash onto there, like onto there. Absolutely no reason, and you can. Do you kill her here? I think you do, right? Yeah. But yeah, you didn't even use your W at all this fight. It's definitely a huge mistake. Like this is one thing I didn't really notice in our last coaching, I guess, or maybe I did, but was a lot of other stuff as well. But really, like your
Mm,
W usage is very problematic.
low.
Yeah, just if you're starting a fight, use your W. Again, I would have just W'd onto the Viego here. You might not have, you
Is
might not
Viego
even
a
proc it in a
champ?
lot of situations, right? But just
Is
use
Viego a
it.
champ I can just 1v1 with?
Yeah, in
If I
this
use my
situations
W.
for sure. Yeah, and if you're this ahead, for sure, right? I
Because
mean,
I played a Jax before and that was hard to 1v1 with.
yeah, Jax is hard. Viego is also hard if he has like wits end and whatever complete and he's kind of even, but he's not even with you, right? You're so ahead, and this is what I mean. You weren't really. It didn't really feel like you were aware of how strong you are in a lot of situations, and that's why you didn't force a lot when you could have forced, right? And then at some point you died 2 times or whatever, and all of a sudden you're even with the enemies. And you just lost the window where you were able to really force stuff. Right here again, you should just look bot, right? See where they are, and also you probably, yeah, okay, no, you just collected the stacks, so that's fine. I mean, yeah, I guess you see the Jax here. He's low HP. Deffing top's definitely not horrible, but in general, yeah. Also here, why do you do this? Just at least, I mean, you don't have the rocket belt yet.
I thought he was leaving there.
Mm.
I didn't expect him to stay. I just wanted to catch
Okay,
him.
yeah, that's kind of unlucky then, I guess. But still, in general, even without the rocket build, if you place your W here and then you E and attack a minion to get in range, you might still be able to stun him, right? If he doesn't have the reflexes to ward jump Q.
If yeah, if I realized he was going to stay, I
Mm,
would have just W'd it instantly because
yeah, yeah.
that's the way to
I mean, in
engage him.
general, there's still even though you're just clearing the wave, right? There's not really any
Yeah,
big reason not to W there, even just
okay.
for the chance. But of course, yeah, if you didn't expect it, right? You maybe should have expected it the way he was walking, but it's kind of hard to tell, I guess. It was definitely a weird decision by him in general to be there. Yeah, this one was also very weird. This base. I mean, the base is fine. You have a what the fuck is this? Hello. Why is it not showing correctly anymore? Okay, I mean, yo. Okay, what? What is happening? This is so weird. Wait, can I? Okay. Well, I know what happened here. Like you went base, which is fine. You have like 2K gold. You have your rocket belt completion under 12 minutes. That's good. But you have 700 gold now, and you have unupgraded. Like you should upgrade your boots here as well, or at least buy an amp tome. But in my opinion, boot upgrade is definitely going where like going in depth for is worth for a boot
Okay.
upgrade. Uh, and also later on,
And in this situation, would Sorks choose or
yeah,
Mercs
I
to
would have.
get?
Yeah, you went for Mercs, right? But I would have actually went for Sorks here because their CC is very dodgeable. All of their CC. And you're the only like you can't see sadly because it's bugged, but the Twitch even went AD, so you're legit the only AP. I mean, you have the Lux, okay, but it's a support, so yeah. I mean, the enemies actually bought some MR, at least the Viego did, but still, man, I wish I fix this somehow. It's really annoying. Okay, let me just restart because I need to be able to see. Fuck, I maybe should have looked at the time that I was, where we were at. I'll find it. Yeah, but yeah, I think Sork's definitely the better choice in this game. And especially because you were so fat as well, right? Like, you would have really been able to just take over. The problem was just that you were kind of not forcing anything, even though you were super able to. Like, you were easily able to force
So
so
no
much.
map pressure.
Yeah, that was the biggest problem, I guess. Yeah, for sure. That's
So
what you could have
do I
decided the
just
game.
should I just force objectives
If you're
from
this
down
fat,
here?
for sure, yeah. If you're this strong, like if you're in this position, you need to start forcing stuff, right? For sure, the next Drake, you should never lose the next Drake here. You're super strong, but you do lose it. And also, of course, I told you, right? Focus on CS, but if you're this ahead, like sometimes focus on kills first, and then still obviously don't completely disregard your CS. But if you're actually in a position where you can really easily force and get kills, for example, here this Thresh is dead. Look at this wave state; it's horrible for him.
Oh,
Okay, this is worded, but if you go here, place a W, E over Rocket Belt onto him, he's dead, or he has to flash at least, and he probably won't react properly, so you can just kill him for sure.
okay.
Yeah, like this kind of, like, it felt like you really didn't look mid once this game. And then also, I think you even know that they're doing Herald, so that's the time where you need to do Drake. You know they're not even gonna contest it, so yeah, going into your top side jungle here, huge mistake. And also the Mandrake is so good. What does it give? Like 9% armor and MR? That's just so massive. You really can't undervalue that. And then again here, I think in a second you don't use your W again. See, if someone is walking into you, now place your W, or a second earlier even, place it onto you, and see, like, and it feels like you're just, I don't know, scared or something, but the fact that he lived there is kind of illegal. I mean, you obviously missed all your abilities, so that's just unfortunate. Again, W here, why are you not Wing? Now you W, but and also the Ws that you do use, they're usually directly on top of the enemies and not really in their path, right? So you don't really get a lot of stuns with it. You could get so many more stuns if you just place it in the path where you think they'll be walking, right? Of course, you won't stun them every time, but at least you get the shield then, and the fact that you don't even use it at all in a lot of situations, it just lets you die so much, right? This stuff, unlucky, I
So
guess.
place it where they're gonna go.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you might miss, but obviously you will get better at it as well if you just start doing it. Right, then here, obviously, kind of awkward because you died. Would have been nice if you had already cleared your jungle here. But I think you should also, at this point, you should probably even be bot side because Drake might be up. Here also, why are you flashing? See, like, why are you flashing? You have Rocket Belt up. You just need to E over the wall. Like, you have the W there. The only thing you need to do is E over the wall. You probably don't even need to
Okay.
hit your Q, right? Like, he's super low. That flash is like giga wasted, really. I
Right.
mean, the fact that you were there to get the kill, good, but absolutely zero reason to flash.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
Shouldn't have crossed
getting
this way.
Drake. Sucks, obviously, because obviously I told you right when you should have done it, and there was an easy timing to do it. If you see the enemy jungle top, oops, if you see the enemy jungle top, and you're in a position where you can take Drake, especially I think their bot lane was even base and yours was like pushed, like in general, to take Drakes or any objectives, it's always good if your lanes are pushed in, right? So tell your laners to push in
Yeah.
as well. Here,
Yeah.
you need to
Prior.
move. You also need to. You probably didn't look bot, but this is so gank. Like you can easily help out there, right? They're chasing so dumb. You even have the big plants that can boost you there. I would take this now. Go over there. Karma's dead easily. Diego, you need to place your W already. See, like Big mistake
I
again.
don't know why did I do that? I keep on. I know that I should be, but I don't know why I didn't do that.
Yeah, just really, and you can place it from here to here, right? So if you're
Yeah,
in this brush, you
yeah,
can place your W here, and this guy, and also don't walk out too early, right? You're super fast. This is the thing. You have the rocket belt. Also, you shouldn't buy Sheen first, right? Sheen is the last thing you should buy from Lich Bane. I think I even said
Which
that
one should
to
I buy
you.
first?
The Aether Wisp, the one that gives you movement speed, then the one that gives you ability haste, and then the Sheen. Because see what it does. It gives you physical damage on hit base, right? It's not very impactful for Ekko. It's just 78
Okay,
extra damage.
okay.
Like the movement speed, 5% movement speed is much better, especially in a movement speed centric build like this. And 10 ability
Yeah.
has also better. And also, obviously, it gives you AP as well. So you want AP way more than you want some 78 physical on hit damage. Right,
Okay.
so yeah, if you W here, he's also 100% dead. He doesn't have flash, he doesn't have ult. I think even without the W, he should be dead here. Let's see. I think you can probably, if you just, or also even use this plant, it gives you movement speed, right? If you E on him here,
Yeah.
you see him. It's a bit weird. Yeah, here, see, for example, this W. What do you expect? You think she's not gonna walk towards her tower, right? If you think about it. Why do you place it on top of her? There's 0% chance she's gonna stay on it, especially if she sees you casting it. Why would she stay here? You need to place it somewhere here. I mean, you kill her here, so it doesn't really matter. Because she's obviously, like, she's playing without flash, she's just trolling, but still, like, in general, like, this W was just super bad. You always need to place it in the path. I know this Karma is also just kind of trolling. And use these plants, right? You see her using it now, she's low. Use the plant, you're already here, and she's dies. You probably save the Lux also, if you do that. For sure. Right, now you have actually, now you should go base already, honestly. Or collect mid, I guess, but you didn't do that. Yeah, you're just wasting time. I mean, yeah, you should definitely have just went base here. You have a lot of gold. I think you can buy. Can you buy? I think you can buy the Lich Bane already with 2k. So yeah, just for sure, not worth staying for the top side. Right? You should take it when you are much stronger after getting more items. So yeah, and also you probably could have went mid as well there.
Right.
Then do you see the Viego? Do you see him? Sure. Wait. I think someone pinged him or no. Oh no, he pinged that he's on the way. Okay, you didn't see him. Because if you do see him here, then you definitely need to hover top as well. But yeah. Yeah, so this base just okay, now you're canceling it again, and you don't even get anything top. So this
Okay.
just
Okay.
right, a lot of
That's what I
time
thought.
wasted again.
Yep. I just
And
thought that I would.
here, you can kill the Jax, by the way.
I could have. I
You
missed
know,
that.
this is the classic, right? Like these angles are so easy. This angle and this angle, super easy. Just place your W here. He has no time to react. You just E over the wall like 1 second before it pops. Rocket built in, E onto him. He's 100% stunned. You can even sometimes clear the minion wave, so he even takes tower shots. Like this guy is 100% dead here, if you don't just walk in there. And this time you really know that he's like, you see him just walking there,
Yeah.
right?
That
So
was my mistake.
you know. And at this point, still, you're super strong. You're the strongest guy in the game. Look at the gold. You have 1k gold ahead of this guy, 1k, 1.5 ahead of this guy even. So you're still super strong. And these guys are all like, except for the Jack, they're just super squishy. So and there's like one situation where you died to Viego soon. That was just like a huge misplay, and it felt like you really didn't know like how much stronger you were than him.
Yeah.
Right, here again, you can look just, it's 3 people, so what, you have your W, you place it on top of them, and you can get something. right? Just you won't die. I mean, you might have to flash if you fuck up something, but okay, they get the tower pretty fast. But yeah, you even have GP ult. Really, these kind of engage angles. This one, this one over this, like over these pits, and then
Yeah.
this one. These are like super classic. I get so many kills with these engage angles, like so many times, especially after you have your rocket belt, because you just have so much range. And in this like I would just trade with him. You're strong. Look at his items. He doesn't even have his mythic complete. You have two fucking items. You're so much stronger than him. And if you had pathed a bit better, you would even be ahead in levels. Right? So you should if he does stupid stuff like staying in your range here, just engage on him, chunk him. He will
What do you
probably
mean
have
by
HP. What?
what do you mean by path a bit better, by the way?
I guess you
Like,
just or like you take better resets and that. I mean your pathing is fine this game. Absolutely not horrible or anything, but there's always stuff that you where you just waste some time, right? Some situations where you walk around aimlessly or you're
oh yeah, yeah,
like
that
this
bit.
kind of stuff, right? I mean your general pathing was fine this game. See, but here I would always look for the like when they're pushing the tower. Of course, they're full HP. You're probably not gonna kill them, but I mean maybe you can actually kill them with the GP ult. See, and what this guy's doing. Okay, I mean he didn't stay in his shroud for too long, but just play more aggressive. You're really strong at this point. This is where you really
I was
hit the force way
really
more.
scared about the amount of CC and just the amount of
But what's
damage.
CC? I mean, their CC, they have CC. A lot of their champs have CC, but it's all pretty dodgeable. Of course, you can't just face tank everything, but right, just really. I mean, you're saying you know that they have a lot of CC, so you know their spells just really play around them. Also, I think you really need to. I mean, okay, taking this camp takes seconds, whatever, but now you really need to go to the
Infiltrate.
Drake. Yeah, you can't do Grump
Yeah,
here.
I didn't focus on objectives that much this game,
Yeah, that's definitely
unfortunately.
something that would have won me the game much easier. And also take the blast, like this is a small detail of course, but take the blast plant here. It boosts you so
Okay,
far, it's just saving you time, right, instead of having to
okay.
walk. I mean, you even get the Drake, I'm pretty sure. Right, also you shouldn't be the one that's pushing this wave. I mean, it's obviously a bit of a mistake by your team that they're not the ones, but you're the strongest guy on your team, you should be the one that's in the front lines fighting with your team, just killing them. You know, so I mean, your team actually did like a good job here, secured the Drake, but you should be the one. Also now is you need to take the mid tower here, right? The sorry, the Viego's dead. Your top and mid are here. This tower is super low and it's gonna open up the map a lot, right? You need to, if you can, and it's super free in this situation, just take it. You need like 2 auto attacks here, and also just be with your team more. Like in this game, you weren't with your team nearly enough. You could have decided so many fights if you were just there, because a lot of the fights were really close, and you were super strong, but you just weren't there. And this is what the Blue
Yeah,
Smite should enable for you, right? It should enable you to farm and still be able to join the fights. You just kind of decided not to in a lot of situations.
right.
Also here again this engage angle, right? I think you can see the karma walking there, can you?
What should I E over? Is it the
This
big
one.
wall?
Yeah, you need to stand close to it, but
I
it's not
can't
that
see a
difficult.
mouse.
Ah,
Can't see.
fuck, wait.
Where
Yeah,
exactly
wait.
is
Let me reshare my thing, my screen. Then you can see it. I almost forget. Right
it
here,
shed?
this.
Green is not shed.
What? But I heard the sound. Is it not? It should be.
There is, there is. I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
see
yeah.
it now.
See this wall here. You need to stand here or
Yeah.
somewhere around here, and then you can E over this wall. Sometimes you can also
Oh,
just
I
E
didn't know
here.
that. I do E over that.
Yeah,
I've done that.
You can, for
I
example,
haven't.
if you
I
place
just
your
haven't
W
E'd over.
here. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's kind of difficult. You can also do it from the other side. It's a bit more difficult from here, but it's not that difficult, honestly. Like the most difficult one is this
Is
kind
that wall?
of, or I think this one. No, there's some wall that's actually really difficult that, but you don't really need it, so whatever. But this wall, yeah, you can E over here. But even if you just E over here, like you knew that you
Yeah.
can E rocket belt. You have enough movement speed. If your W is here, right, the enemies will also be
Yeah.
slowed in there. You can easily get them,
Okay.
100%. And let's see if you can see the karma moving here. I guess you can't. If you could see her moving here, I guess you can see her from the tower now, so you could probably even go over there now. But you might not kill her. She's, I mean, Karma's quite fast, so. Oh well, she built Leandris as well. I didn't even see that. That's pretty bad. Right? Yeah, like the biggest thing that lost you the game was just the fact that you didn't focus on objectives at all, even though you were super strong, and obviously the fact that you were just not fighting with your team a lot of the time. Here, yeah, here you died to the Viego, and there was like no reason. See how much gold you're ahead. You're legit 1.5k gold ahead. Now what you need to do?
Yeah, I realized here with my fight, it was a waste to use my R when I
Mm-hmm.
was not meant to.
Exactly.
Like,
That's the first thing.
and also like I W'd right on
W,
top
no,
of
the
you.
W is fine. No. In this situation, it's fine that you W on top of yourself because the enemy Viego, like, he used his W already, so he doesn't really have a movement spell. He can only ult out there. So if someone is engaging on top of you like this and they're not likely to run away, right? He wants to fight you clearly. Then you W on top of you. That's fine. What you should do in this situation, right? You threw out your Q. You have your E up, so E next to him, right? E to the left, so your return Q hits and you also get the passive stack. That's the first thing. Right, you would have dealt so much damage there to him. And then obviously you already said it, your ult is completely wasted. You should never use it when you're like I think you're using it at 60% HP or something here, or even more. So that's
Yeah,
super wasted. There's no way you die. Okay, I guess you maybe wanted to hit him, but still, just super wasted. And at this point, you see how much damage you're dealing to him. You can easily kill him. Your GP is even moving. So the fact that you die here is just, and obviously you fail flash as well, so that's just a tilter. But yeah, this was like a super bad death for sure. It feels like in a lot of fights you're just not very calm, right? It feels like you're just spamming out your abilities, and that's also why you're missing a lot of your abilities. It feels like a lot of the time you're very close to the enemies and you're just missing your Qs or whatever. When you
right,
could just easily hit them by just playing a bit more calm.
right.
Mm. Again, like here you can
Let's go
engage over
here.
the wall.
I was very tunneled on farming, wasn't I?
No, but still, like, and even here, see this W again. Why you think she's gonna stay here? Right? It just doesn't pop that fast. So you know she's gonna run away here after she sees you. So place it behind her, right? Or if you think she's gonna face check here, then okay, place it early, but then don't walk out of the brush. So yeah, like I mean, yeah, the rocket bell was also obviously a bit in. I think you even get her. The thresh is not in. See, like this Q, for example, the fact that you missed that, even though you're right on top of the thresh, it's just. I mean, I told you, right? Use the EQ combo, but that's
Right.
use it when when you need to get in range, right? Here, you should just Q him, then and then E onto him, right? There's no reason to go for the kind of riskier play of doing the EQ that you can actually miss, right? You for sure hit the Q if you just Q him. Like it's not difficult, right? And these kind of Qs you miss quite a lot. I feel like where you're just fighting in close proximity and yeah, and
Yeah.
you maybe E sometimes at the same time. I think you could have taken Nash here. I don't know why you didn't
Well,
actually.
the thing is, it's just Caitlyn, me, and Twitch, and I
So
don't know if would that be
there are two
advantageous to
ADCs.
me.
No, for sure you can take it. The
Okay,
Kalista is
because
just
we
trolling
were like
enemies.
I thought of doing it. That's why I was staying there for a solid like
Hmm.
2 5
No, you need
seconds,
to
and then
take it there. For sure, take it. Like, you're three guys. The Thresh is dead. I think you saw the Jax clearing bot a second ago, so you know he's not gonna be there. And then the Viego's the
right,
only one there. And what is he gonna do? He's just gonna come and then die, right? You turn on him and he dies. There's nothing you can do
okay,
if he's alone there. Even if the Kalista is moving as well, it just doesn't matter.
yeah, yeah,
So
I
obviously, right,
understand.
like taking Nash in the right situations, obviously also really gonna help you close out games, for sure.
Yeah, I
And then
realized because
here you shouldn't be jungling, for example. See, look at your team. They're almost like okay. Let's not call it almost winning, but with you they would for sure be winning the fight. You even get some kills here, but yeah, like There was just this decision making to go for the farm there. Maybe it was because I also told you, right, focus on farming. But if you see, let's see how obvious it was that there would be a team fight breaking out. I mean, the first thing is of course that the Drake's gonna come up soon, right? So the thing is, if the Drake's coming up, you need to be there to just get vision and that kind of stuff as well, right? So the minute before
Okay.
the Drake comes up,
Okay.
if it's gray like this, you usually need to set up vision, especially in even
Okay.
games. So yeah, here you just need to stay with your team. Like going into your jungle is just a huge mistake. So yeah, it's pretty obvious that there's gonna be a team fight breaking out because there's an objective that has to be contested.
Right. Right.
So yeah, imagine if you're just here, place a nice W in this brush or whatever they're engaging onto it, you just insta win the fight, 100%. Yeah, just and the GP would also TP in.
This, by the way, this was one of the good games in terms of the fact that like the team was still there when I was trying to do Drake. There were games
Mm,
where there were games, but it's not all games. But there were games where I just try and do Drake, try and go to Drake, and my
mm,
team just doesn't come.
yeah.
So
But if you, for example, if you're in a position like this, you
yeah,
can just force it on your own for sure. You get like 1 or 2 kills before the Drake, and then I mean your team. First of all, they will probably actually move because they know if you have a numbers advantage, you can do the Drake, and
I
also
know what I should have gone Drake here.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
you should just go here and steal it as well, right? I mean, yeah, taking red before is actually fine, just so you can regenerate a bit. You don't have smite up, I guess, but still, like the Jack's doing it alone. And as Ekko, you can steal super well even without smite. So place your W, yeah. I think you even get it right because yeah, the Lux steals it. You even get the 1k shot down. You didn't have ult up. That's unlucky, I guess. But yeah, this was, for example, this was like a huge turning point for you actually. You have your Rabadons at okay. I mean, 27 minutes is not super impressive, but it's fine, right? The enemies are not very strong either, so. This game is still absolutely winnable. And there's one more situation where it was like a huge throw, what you did, like what your whole team did. You all recalled just for the Kalista that was split pushing, but yeah, in general, there's just so much. You need to play way more. Okay, I don't know. Yeah, this is what I wanted. Like, were you tilted here? What happened? Why did you just flash over there?
I knew he was doing my camp, so I just wanted to
So,
make him get a pick. That's what I
but
wanted to
okay,
do.
okay, but you don't even have your E up. Like that's just, and it's one camp. It's 100 gold, not even. And you don't know who else is
Okay.
there. So like this flash is not, it's not only wasted, it's honestly just like super like, how do you say? Like you could have easily died there as well, right? So yeah, I mean you
I
even do
did die.
die. Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, you could have died right away even without getting a kill, is what I mean. Right, so yeah, you died way too much in this time because these deaths are super long as well, right? They're like 50 minutes, 50 seconds. And you have
Yeah.
4 deaths now. I think you go up to 10. So 10, 50-minute
In the
deaths.
end, it was just
Yeah,
was
you
hard.
spent the game was 50 minutes long and you spent 10 minutes at least like dead almost. Or not at least, but almost 10 minutes dead. So especially on a champ like Ekko, it's just way too much. And especially for how fed you are, right? See,
Yes.
now you're starting to become more and more even with the enemies. You're still actually the one with the most gold, so you're still in a good position here. You have your Revenants complete, so that's completely fine. Mm, but yeah, you just don't really force anything. If you're in this position, I
Okay.
guess your team as a whole is not very ahead, but you're super ahead. So just make the calls, right? Make the calls to maybe go for a Nash and whatever. Just don't be scared. If you're feeling strong,
Yeah.
if you're chunking someone to half HP with one rotation, then you're strong, right? And you did that a lot this game. Right here, you're just kind of not grouped up with your team. So isn't the Caitlyn. So
Oh
this
fuck.
obviously not a good like not a good situation to really fight because Caitlyn isn't there either. But still, like you're just wandering around aimlessly. At least you could have pushed bot or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then here the W. I mean, it's fine that you place it kind of on top of him, but at least place it like around here. I would say, right? Because for
Okay.
sure
Okay.
right? If someone is stunned or whatever, at least place it so it's right on top of the enemy and not like it was here where it's just on the edge. Like this is never gonna stun him. And obviously he's also gonna walk in this direction for sure and not stay here. So right, like place it here maybe. Then E rocket belt, you can kill him. You can just kill him, but you're just too slow with that, and you're just your decision making is just too slow there. I mean, maybe you don't kill him because he has Maw, but still. It's fine to, you know, as Ekko, you can sometimes just completely tunnel vision on enemies. I don't know also
Yeah.
what you're doing here, you're just walking back and forth, you're not even going into base, it's kind of weird. You can just sometimes, if you have your W, you place it, you just tunnel vision on someone, you get them, that's fine. But, like, you don't really do that, right?
I literally lost so much health there. I
Mm,
remember that.
yeah. Here again, place your, okay, now you have your W up, but, right, like, this also, well, usually, if you see people fighting here, place your W over here. They don't really have a lot of time to react.
Okay. What am I doing? Oh.
You know, you actually get the kill here, right? You get the next Drake out of this as well. See, now you get so many kills. I think you die here. Yeah. You didn't ult. That was a bit rough, of course. I think, let's see. Obviously this W again, right? You didn't even proc it. That's such a huge problem. If you place your W here and you proc it, you just don't die, right? You realize that. You should always place it at least, even if you're not. I mean, you're always hoping that you stun someone, but it should never be the reason you place your W. The reason you place your W is so you get the shield, and that's something you're missing in so many fights, and that's why you die so much. You know that you're gonna run in this direction, place your W here somewhere. So don't place it on top of her. She's gonna run away. Why would she stay there? And why would you even stay there? That's a bigger question, right?
Right.
So if you just have the W that you don't die, you can probably kill them as well, and then you get Nash for sure.
Oh man. I don't know why I didn't. Like, there's so many opportunities I could have got Nash.
Yeah. And there's also so many opportunities where you could have done way more if you just place your W as well, and you wouldn't have died. That should be something. If you just actively start placing it, you're gonna have much better success in fights as well. It doesn't even have like CSing and whatever that kind of stuff. It doesn't even matter if you just use your fucking W. Especially because you're so fat this game, and you're still strong. Like at this point, you're not gonna be a weak champ, right? You're still getting a lot of kills. I think you ended the game with like 22 kills. So.
Oh, this one was rough.
And this one was a bit. See, for example, here you tunnel vision onto the Karma, but the way you do it is like you can't really do. I mean, you kind of can do it actually, but again, you didn't place your W here.
Yeah.
Right? Like just place your W before you even engage in there. And then, obviously, you can't just walk next to these champs and expect not to die. So at least like try to keep them at range with Q or something, right? Like here is where you really kind of lost the game, I guess. But they probably they get Nash as well.
Yeah, that's where I lost the game. Like it was hard. At this point, I was tilted. I think.
Yeah, let's actually see in general how you should have played there, or if you even should have fought there at all. That's kind of. Oh wait, I went back too far, I think.
Yeah, this was a way between.
Yeah.
It's because I thought we were contesting for Nash.
See, like they're I mean, they were 4v5. So how did you even lose this fight so hard? You only got like 1 kill. Okay, I mean, first of all, okay, I mean, you one-shot these camps, so it's fine. You should definitely go for the Viego here. Like, just group up, stay with your team.
The problem was I saw the Caitlyn and I thought the traps, so...
But, like, just stay with your team, right? Move with your team also helps them to not die.
Okay.
Yeah, you just picked yourself off, basically, by going around and going into 3 people instead of just staying with your team here. You probably could have done something this fight. It definitely shouldn't have, like, been a 5-for-1. For sure.
This point is when we lose.
It actually is, but there was still like such a huge, right? I think when you get these kills here is where you still could have won the game so easily because the enemies just threw so hard. You get them
Then
all
they get
in a second here. Here again, you see them place a W somewhere here. If you're looking to engage, at least. I mean, you're not really looking to engage into them, but again, of course, W
Is Thresh
here.
squishy here?
Yes, Thresh is so squishy. Look at his items. How much armor or whatever does he have? Yeah, I mean, he has a lot of armor because of his passive, but he doesn't have any MR, so he's super squishy to you. Again, also you see the here now is the time where you should place your W. I mean, it doesn't matter because you get him anyways. Here you actually place your W where I would have also placed it, right? Like this was probably the only time this game where you place a good W.
But I didn't proc it.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. This also it should be a priority always if you're, especially in team fights, always proc your W. The shield doesn't last super long, but it usually tanks like a few hits. Yeah, here you even get the Jax. See, now you got all of them. And what do? Like, your whole team in a second is gonna recall for the fucking trolling Kalista. With the 0-6 Kalista. What do you think? She's gonna end the game? Like, one person should recall here, just def the wave. Because you're all legit, even though Lux is probably strong enough to def this. But instead, all of you go base. And you have... Look at their def timers. They're dead so long, you should at least get the mid inhib here. So that's just such a huge mistake.
Okay.
The fact that all of you recalled here. Right, and now you get nothing. You didn't even really defend. She still got 2 towers, so... Yeah, and even... Yeah, this was just such a big mistake. Do you get the... now the Viego also, he seals. That's obvious. I mean, that's a bit of a mistake by your team that they're not helping you here, for sure. And there's also Tilter, I can imagine. But yeah, just the priority of the fact that everyone recalled there to def the Kalista was just so bad. Also here one thing, I mean you get the... Oh, what the fuck? Why is it so poor? You get the Kalista here, the Karma, but here is again, like when you come out of base, place your W. Especially because you have the home guards, right? You need to play every time when enemies are sieging here or something, place your W out of range. They won't even see it.
What is a home guard?
It's like the movement speed.
Yeah,
this one.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
After you die, so you're even faster than you would normally be. But even if you wouldn't have that, you can just place your W at max range where they're gonna be walking. Now you place it here. She won't see it, and you walk into it. And I mean, obviously you're still killer, but just for the future and like other scenarios. Like the normal scenario would be, for example, if they're sieging the tower here, the whole team is here,
Yeah.
you're coming out of base, you can place the W here before they can see you, and then you go in there, right? And maybe you can do something.
If I know I'm going to kill them regardless, I tend to not do the W.
I mean, yeah, but that's not a good habit. Because you should never play like that, right? You don't know that much, probably. You might think you know that you will kill them regardless, but what happens if, I don't know, someone else pops out of the brush or whatever, right? I'm sure you don't really have...
That's what happened to me a lot.
Yeah, again, here, okay, I mean, you didn't know, but now is where you need to place a W somewhere, right? I mean, you actually bait him in quite nicely, but I feel like that was more of an accident than... Or not accident, but, you know, it's not something you really planned out, and you really need to place your W earlier there as well. Right. Yeah, for example, this, I feel like you were just tilted. You should know that you will die to the Kalista there. Oops. Like, the Kalista might be griefing, but she has 4 items at this point, so she's not useless, and it's a late game ADC, so... And look at her shield. Right, I mean, you dealt quite a lot of damage. I guess if you actually... Wait, I think you might have even killed her if you didn't auto-attack the minion. But still... Did you proc your electrocute? Fuck, I'm blind.
I did proc the electrocute.
You did, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think you probably wouldn't have killed her then. Yeah, even with if you maybe would have killed her if you auto-attacked, but still, just going for that's a bit. And she even has heal up, so she shouldn't have died if she used it. And the scoreboard is bugged again, but it doesn't matter at this point.
Yeah, this is where it kind of ends, I think. Oh, actually, no, we get one more Drake.
Jack spot Magis. Damn. Interesting. Yeah, no, you even get Nash here. Yeah, this also. But again, like a situation where you probably could have done way more. Right, these idiots, they both tank your R. So now you get such huge. You get three of them off the map for 1 minute. And you basically do nothing with it. Of course, now it's more difficult because you have inhibs open. But still, right? Now do the Nash way faster.
That was the main problem. That was my main problem. The fact that the inhibs were open. I was
Mm-hmm.
like,
Yeah, but
triple inhib, like
it
this
shouldn't have
is
even
ridiculous.
happened, right? I mean, the fact that it led to that, it was just a huge mistake.
I I wanted to do Drake, but
Hmm.
clearly we
Yeah,
couldn't.
I mean, it cleared this ward also. I don't know why we're not clearing this ward. They're seeing you all the time now. And you should just at some point you should just try. I mean, yeah, obviously they pulled it out so you can't see it anymore. But at some point you just need to place a W and see if you spot it, right? I mean, you can kind of see how much damage they deal, I think, at the start, so... Obviously they do it really fast, but you should at least try to steal. You can always just ult out. Right, and it would have given you the soul, which would have been very helpful, of course, as well. Yeah. Yeah, here's also like a big mechanical error. I mean, first of all, this obviously... The fact, first of all, that you're here... Just three of you are here, and then two of you are in base when you have no real vision or whatever. Just really bad. I don't know, like, you die here for this, honestly. And then... Here, see, your Q's up. So Q backwards before he comes... Or just Q backwards before he jumps onto you, he dies. 100%, and you don't die as well. Obviously, this is like a small thing. Or it's
Yeah,
something...
I mean,
Right, sometimes it
it would have
happens that
stopped
you
me from
don't
dying.
notice.
So
But yeah, just Q backwards onto the Zonius and it will hit him instantly. And you just... That again.
that's
Enemies
okay.
probably... They probably could have ended here, I don't know. I guess
What could we
you're...
have done there that was different? What could I have done that would prevent that?
What do you mean exactly?
Because in that situation, I was trying to push mid so that
Mm-hmm.
we'd have in him, but clearly they flanked me from the sides, and
Yeah, that's what I was saying, right? Like, you can't push mid as three guys. If people are not there, then you'll just be outnumbered. And in the late game, just at this point, you're not much stronger than the enemies anymore, right? They're also full build, so I mean, you're not really stronger at all. The only thing you have is the scaling of Ekko, right? Ekko is stronger than a lot of late game champs, but he's not really stronger than Jax. So they also a really strong late game champ, and so that means you just can't. I mean, you have two open minions. You just need to play on the back foot until they're up. That's how it usually is. It sucks, of course. You had Nash, so you obviously want to use it, but before you lost
yeah,
three inhibs, so you can't really go for these kind of pushes, especially not if the whole team isn't even following.
right, right,
So also of course if you don't die here, then this is not nearly as bad. If you just kill the Jax and then get out, that's fine, right? Then this wasn't even nearly as bad, but now all of you die. The GP also decides to die, so this is just horrible. Like the amount of time you spent dead is just
too
a
much.
lot, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But now you even kill them again, like a lot of them.
I don't
It's
think.
just
Oh,
it's just
yeah.
such a back and forth. But you're not really getting anything for it. That's always the problem. That's always what you need to think about. It's like after you win a team fight or whatever, you just also just don't clear your jungler anymore. Like your full build don't you need to be with your team here. Like this is such a huge mistake by you. I mean you need
Okay.
to def as well. That's fine. But if you could have been there with your team before, you could have taken the bot tower as well at least. So
Right,
this is
right.
definitely also here. What are you doing? You think someone's gonna back there
I was
with two
looking at
towers or?
the fight to see if I
Yeah.
should go or not.
Yeah, but no, but move there and then decide if you need to turn back, That should be the way you do it.
Okay.
and not just stand there and then have to wait a long time to be able to even go there. Also, I don't know why you would ever EQ on top of the Jax. There's no in the late game, like it's not a target you can just EQ on top, especially if he has his E up and you know he has his E up, but he didn't use it. So yeah, this is definitely not something you should ever do.
Okay. And it,
You even get him. Again, W somewhere here, right? Just zone them away. They can't walk you if you W there. You need to realize that the W is such a good zoning tool as well, even if you don't proc it, because the enemies, they're just not allowed to go in there. It's almost like the mental thing alone of them, right? Like, now this W was obviously good. And then yeah, I guess you after 45 minutes you still haven't really seen how much damage the Thresh deals, but yeah, I mean he went for full damage, you sadly can't see, but
I didn't realize he was
yeah,
damaged until
yeah, so
full
like
damage.
this build, patch like Thresh E,
Yeah.
yeah, he deals like so
Right.
much damage. That's why this build is like kind of okay, like it's not that good, but obviously it scales with like his souls and also like the 200% 80 scaling. That's why you can kind of go full 80 and it's actually not super terrible. But yeah, I don't know what your team is doing here. Kind of weird. They should just be deafing. I mean, obviously,
I was like defend.
yeah. Obviously, your team also did a lot of mistakes, but still, there were like
I
you
could
could have
have
won
won
the
this
game on your
game.
own easily in so many, especially with how ahead you were in the early game. Right here, also not being able to, not even trying to steal the Elder, definitely mistake. Yeah, I think now they end, right? So,
Now we end. Now they end. They just kill us
yeah,
all.
so you even it's kind of close, even the fight, but yeah, yeah, unlucky. But yeah, definitely, like the biggest thing I lost you the games was just you not focusing on objectives nearly enough. I would say that was definitely by far one of the biggest mistakes. And
Alright.
then yeah, just like the W placement would have won you a lot more fights for sure as well, right? And would have saved you a lot of deaths as well. So that's something you can instantly implement. Just use your W, right? Just use it with intent. Start using it in every fight. There's never a fight with Ekko where you don't use your W at some point. There just isn't. And you like half the fights you played without your W. And it's a huge cooldown, right? So that already means it's a really strong spell. So just the fact that you're not using it, it's like you're playing Ekko at 50% efficiency or like 50% of his capabilities just by not playing with the
Right.
W.
Right.
Yeah, and in general, just if you're super ahead, if you have like a 300 gold shutdown, you don't even need to think yourself, right? Right is even telling you that you're strong. So
Mm.
play like it and then force stuff, right? If you see squishy champs and they're like, for example, the Thresh when he's like in the mid lane, just sitting around with half HP, especially with the squishy build, just you should know that you can kill him, you can punish him, and then you can maybe get the mid tower or whatever, right? Also,
Yeah.
if you're saying you didn't really even notice that the Thresh was squishy, that's definitely also a problem, right? Just that means you don't press tab often enough, you don't look at items often enough. That's also something. I mean, I have a friend. He's like master elo, and even he doesn't use tab often enough. It feels like, right. So it's like it's just the same as not looking at the map. It's just playing with a blindfold, and there's no reason not to know what kind of items the enemies are building, because you need to know what items they have to know what items you need to build, right? If you need to build a void
Right.
stuff or whatever. So yeah, you should never die to Thresh, for example, especially at 50 minutes because you don't know that he's gonna deal damage, right? So
Right.
yeah, you have any more
Well,
questions?
not any. I don't think I have any more. I
Yeah.
mean, I just need to focus on objectives a lot more now.
Yeah, objectives like
And
number
force those
one,
winnings.
W, number two, I guess, and just
And
I
force
guess
kills
yeah, and
when I'm
force
ahead.
if you're ahead. Just like really, it's like a lot of low elo players. The thing they do is just they're watching the game and they're not really actively trying to win the game. You know what I mean? Like they're not actively looking to
Right.
actually make the plays that are gonna push you towards the victory. And
Mm.
that's why I often call like bad players. I often call them like spectators because that's really what it feels like, right? They're just watching what's happened and cool. Like if someone engages on them, maybe they win the fight, nice. But they're not really looking. That's what I'm also always telling people to just play aggressively because playing aggressively automatically means you're playing proactively as well, and playing proactively is the only thing that can actually win you games.
Is that gonna is that applicable for like elos higher than bronze, silver?
What?
Like what you just said, playing aggressively.
That's like applicable for any elo. You need to
Oh,
the if you look people on the Chinese super server, like the some of the best players in the world, they play hyper aggressive, right? All they do is fight, and that's why they're so mechanically good as well. Because they
hmm.
obviously you practice fighting, you practice getting better, and you practice knowing your limits and that kind of stuff if you just play aggressively. So their macro might
Right.
not be very good in a lot of situations, but because they don't even focus on, they don't even care. They just want to have fun and fight each other and mechanically outplay. And that's also, it's actually just more fun also just playing like that, right? And especially if you're fed with Ekko, it's super fun just running people down.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah, so so start doing it then. You had such a big window where you were like 2K 3K gold ahead of so many people. You could have just really taken over the game.
Right.
Have you actually watched the game review I did?
The game review.
Yeah, I
Um.
uploaded yesterday. I guess you haven't watched that. Maybe go watch that. I really pushed my limits
Oh,
super hard there with
th-
the build.
is that the recent one where you said that you're dominating the early game?
Uh, no, that was
Or
like the highlight video of a stream, but the one that I'm talking about is like where I actually also do like a VOD review of a game of mine. It's my
oh,
last
okay.
video. I
I
can
thought
really recommend.
I thought it was the previous video before that.
Yeah.
No,
No, no.
I'll watch this one because
Yeah, yeah. I can really recommend. You can probably because there I played super aggressive in some situations and it was I guess you can just copy that kind of.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I'll
Cool.
I'll I will look at that and
Mm-hmm.
try and find.
Yeah. Okay. You have like any more questions or?
I don't think I have any more. Did you receive
Okay.
my paper?
Yeah, yeah. I did. I did. Okay.
Okay,
Cool. All right. So I'm gonna
good.
stop the
Thank you.
recording then.